Welcome back, you guys. Another exciting day. I'm back with Steve here. I've been flying a lot with Steve, but I think this is our first video together, which is pretty cool. We're going to head out to the DeRoche gravel pit today. Kind of an exciting day. Steve is right at the breakthrough where he's going to figure out the hovering and then take off some landings. We'll see how far we get today. But anyways, I thought it would be fun to go to the DeRoche gravel pit today and see if we can have a little bit of a breakthrough there. Like 3 knots or less. I think we're going to come in from this direction. Okay, let's fly together.
Okay.
I'm going to define for you the exercise, what we'd like to do.
Okay.
And we'll see how good we can do it.
Okay. Okay.
It's an attempt at something just for fun.
Yep.
And then we can always go back to the river.
Got it.
But what we're going to do here is I'm going to define a very specific location of where you need to shoot an approach to.
Sure.
And then try and hold a hover, and the consequences will be high if we can't hold a hover.
Okay.
We're a little higher than we normally would be on this circuit, but anyways, you see the gravel piles, two of them in front of us?
I see them. Yep.
I'm sure you've seen them on the videos
I
before.
have lots.
So our approach angle is pretty much exactly the way you see it right now, so kind of along this stream here, over the berry field, and then into the first gravel pile. And we're just jumping now onto the right approach profile, so I would say this is a good approach angle right here.
Right, for the first pile.
Yep, for the first pile, yep. And then the target, of course, is to make it all the way to that gravel pile without stopping in a hover before we get to it.
Okay.
Keeping that nose perfectly straight, no drift, no twist, nothing.
Okay.
Obviously, you can see there's trees on the right-hand side.
See that?
So if we get into a drift to the right, we're going to smash into those trees, right? So that's going to be bad. So we have to force ourselves to not drift at all to the right whatsoever.
Okay.
And again, altitude, we don't want to get too low. There could be a train that could swipe us out if we get too low, right?
Yeah.
If we're too high, we're going to end up on a nice steep approach at the end. We don't want that. So we need to just work on that approach angle to make sure that we are coming in nice and smooth.
Are you demoing the first one here?
I'm demoing, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got lots of room to the trees as long as we don't drift, right? And we need to slow ourselves down so that when we reach this gravel pile, we end up in a nice hover. You can see how much left pedal there is, aft cyclic to get it to stop, right?
Right.
The nose never dropped, it never climbed, never did anything, it stayed nice and level. The cyclic went quite aft to get it totally level. And then once we're here, we can rotate a little bit to the left. We can keep our eyes looking at the second gravel pile.
Yeah.
And then the idea will be just hold it as long as we can. And then when we start feeling a little uncomfortable or even not, we're going to just hover taxi at a decent speed over to the second gravel pile.
Okay.
This will be a pretty complex exercise, but we can do it.
Absolutely.
I have confidence in you. And as we get to the middle of the second gravel pile, we'll just bring it into a nice hover again. So slowing it down as we get closer.
Somebody paint an 8?
Yeah, we used to do long line challenges out here.
Got it.
Okay, so get into a nice hover.
Wow.
We're nice and solid. Now we're going to check tails all clear to the right. This is all part of the exercise. You're going to do exactly what I did, right?
Okay.
To the perfection that I'm doing it. No, I'm just
Fantastic.
kidding. There's no perfection. But we're going to look behind us, make sure that there's no traffic behind us.
Yep.
And it looks all clear. Now we're going to pedal turn it back. We have a couple options of where we want to take off. We're going to go a little more towards those railway tracks. Again, we can't drift off to the right. There's trees there. Raise a little bit of power, get over these pilings here, and then just start accelerating. We have room here, so we don't have trees quite yet, so you can see how we have time to get some speed. There's already 40 knots, and then we can just go ahead and follow these railway tracks. We can use a little bit more power. We have lots available to us, about 24, 25, and then we can just climb away like this. I'm going to pass it over to you now. You have control.
Okay, I have control.
And I want you to continue this approach all the way to final, all the way to a nice hover, all right? So using the profile that I just taught you, trying to do everything in your power to keep it on that profile. So cyclic controls airspeed, do whatever you need to continuously slow down to that gravel pile. Collective controls altitude, so I would say right now we're high and fast. So we need to drop more collective, gently pull more back on that cyclic to get it back into the profile we want. There you go, that's looking a little better. Keep that nose nice and straight the whole time. Bringing in that power now, because if we keep sinking like this, we'll end up in the railway tracks.
Right.
So just gently, gently, gently bring it in. Good. Feeding in that left cyclic, forward left cyclic. We don't want to stop early, right? We don't want to stop over the pond or over the railway track, so keep feeding it forward left, left pedal. There you go. We don't want to accelerate, but we want to keep it moving all the way to our spot, right?
Right.
Keep the cyclic down. We don't want to lift the cyclic up. Keep that left cyclic coming in. Good. Try not to get into the pendulum.
Yeah.
All right. Keep that left pedal in there. Don't let it spin on you. Keep it nose level. So that torque really wants to take over, right?
Yeah.
But you've got control there. We got to be early enough on that torque, on that pedal, to stop the torque spin. There you go. That's looking like a nice hover.
Huh.
Like that. Stay relaxed.
Head over there.
Gentle movements. Yeah, we can move over to the second one. So a nice slow hover taxi. Not in a rush to get over there. Working on altitude. We don't want to really go up and down too much. If anything, we kind of want to hop up a few feet and then back down, but we don't really want to drop down in the hole here. And just start working your way down nice and slowly. Bit as stationary as you can.
That was not good.
It was okay. It was okay. Okay, let's go ahead and bring it back up again. So cycling needs to start here. Start coming up slowly.
You're on the pedals?
Yep. The moment you feel the heels lifting off is when you want to gently start feeding that cyclic back into the right.
Okay.
Okay. Back, back, back. Yeah, all the way back into the right. A little earlier on the right cyclic.
Okay.
So we don't get the huge pendulum. That's why it's so important to keep our eyes out. There you go, there you go. All right, we're having fun here. This is pretty sweet. Steve is doing his first takeoffs and landings with most of the controls, which is really cool. At the end, on our way home, Steve's going to fill you in on a couple of things that he's learned and interesting things that when your instructor tells you something, the student doesn't always process it and actually remember to do it, right? So is that what you're going to tell us on the way home? Yeah, exactly. So the things that you should be actually doing that you're not. So on this one, I want to say as little as possible, and I want to see what you remember. Okay? So you shoot this approach all the way to a nice hover on the gravel pile, and I'm going to attempt to not say anything.
Okay, great.
And you're welcome to talk it out loud if you want to, if it helps you to remember what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feel free.
I'm going to work on my attitude. I'm going to slow down my speed a little bit.
The
So I'm
weather
going
is not quite what it was calling for. Yeah,
to start my left bank just on this turn right here. There we go. Avoid those buildings. Standing probably to about 500, I think. Start of my approach. We're in trim. Go fast. High. I'm going to drop collective. Right pedal. Trim. I still feel I'm way too fast. And way too high. Clear the tree. Going down fast.
Traffic Charlie, so Charlie is north of Chilliwack City, 2,000 feet over the river. We're heading southwest bound for Abbotsford.
Mindful of the tree on the right. And I'm way too fast.
All right, so Steve's going to fill us in from a student's point of view about a couple things that your instructor tells you, I guess, and that you should probably listen to. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. You know, it's so funny. I think listening for the visual and the audible cues.
Yeah.
You'll often say, for example, drop power, and I don't. I just I think it's not the right time. So if you want to cut your training time in half, you really have to listen to the timing of when the instructor says, stick click down or collect it down.
Yeah.
You really have to do it. And the other thing too is that there's always this fear of dropping power that you're going to put yourself into the ground. And so, I think one of the biggest challenges I've had is being willing to drop the power fast enough, quick enough, but in a way that isn't all jerky. So I guess the thing is it's just a matter of listening, because here I am, 11, 12 hours into flying, and I'm realizing that the things that are making me successful now are things that we've talked about many, many, many times.
Yes.
And I must say, for you, thank you, because it must drive you crazy when we don't listen.
Well, what's interesting, what's fascinating about this is that it's simple to say on camera, like, hey guys, just listen to your instructor. If you listen to what he says, you'll learn much quicker.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is your brain is trying to listen, but it can only compute so fast, right? It's overloaded. It's going into basically explosion mode, right?
Yeah.
It's trying to do too many things, and it doesn't know how to do them yet. And so as much as it would be nice to just be able to say, yep, just listen to your instructor and do what he says, the brain takes 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds to process sometimes, and then by the time it works it out, it's like, oh, you want me to lower the collective?
Exactly.
I get it. And then by the time you do it, it's already too late, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what we're working on right now, is for the brain to pick those things up quicker and quicker, and it will. It's just a practice and time thing.
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
Quicker doesn't mean a faster. You don't translate it into a jerky control input.
Yeah.
Quicker means start the activity like right now. Like
Exactly.
As soon as
Start
you
early.
detect the need.
Yes.
It doesn't mean jerk things around, and I think that's something that I've in the last 4 or 5 flights I've gotten better at.
Yeah.
But no, it's good.
Awesome.
Listen.
Valuable words, you guys. This guy is very smart. He's learning well. He's going to get this figured out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Like this video. We're going to talk to you guys later. See ya.